Okay, we're ready to start row 1 of our diamond spiral pattern. And so, of course, we're going to read through it. And like I say, it's going to be quite, I think it'll go fairly fast because we're only going to do one repeat on the right side and then the second repeat. And that's pretty much it. Okay, row 1, which is the right side, reads knit 5, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 4. Okay, so let's start. And of course, we're working by our formula, which we have set our markers in the right place. I have 3 border stitches there. Here's some extra stitches that just fills in the space. I'm up to my first marker, which will be the 15 stitches here for the pattern. So let's go. Knit 5. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, and in with a knit 4. That's 3, one more is 4. And on my little sample I have 2 little extra fill-in stitches right after my marker. So I'm going to knit those 2. These next 3 stitches will represent our neck border. So we just knit right on across those. You knit those on every row. Any border stitches. Okay. Now, this area represents the center back from this marker to the next that will go up, and of course will eventually become the neck. We'll use that as our neck stitches. So that's simply knit across. This also would make a beautiful neck warmer. Now I know we're talking, we just come out of cold and we went right on. It feels like we've gone right into summer. I mean, it's just hot and humid. But these are things you knit as we're doing it, or work along with me, and then you put them up, and you're ahead. This will be a beautiful neck warmer. Maybe I'll finish it and show it to you on down the road. I got so many other things going. Okay, so now I'm up to the end of the back. There's the marker. The next 3 stitches I knit because they're the border on this side. On the left hand side, we're on the left side now. Remove that marker. Here's my little extra stitches, and now I'm up to my pattern. And I simply repeat the pattern. Knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, and in with a knit 4. And I just simply knit the remaining stitches off. And last marker, knit the last 3. Okay, see how quick this will go? All right. Well, let me let you look at it first. Okay, we're just getting started. Can't see anything yet. All right, row 2 and all wrong side rows, as you can see, you will purl all stitches except the stitches that that represent a border. And you know we have the border on each end, and then we have a border on each side of the center back, right there. And they're 3 stitches a piece. All those that represent a border, you simply knit. All other stitches, you purl. That's row 2 and all wrong side rows. I'll see you back at row 3. Okay, we're up to row 3, and row 3 reads, knit 3, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, and knit 3. So, let's take care of this row. Of course, if you have this book, and I'll pull it out in just a minute again, you know, you can just read right along and not have to worry about it. All right, but it is on the screen for those that do not. All right, it says knit 3, 1, 2, and 3, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, reach back and pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, and end with a knit 3. As simple can be. Oh, I couldn't resist. Okay, slide the markers and continue on. Alright, this is the marker that represents right in front of those 3 border stitches. So they're just knit. We're on the front side, so really you just knit to the next pattern section. So we'll just do this, and then I'll just work one side just to show you how fast this will go. So I'm just working across the center back now. I'm just knitting because we're on the front side. Okay, I'm coming up to the next marker, red marker. I slide it over, knit across, there we go, my extra stitches, and now I'm up to my pattern on the left side, and I will simply repeat. I will repeat, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, reach back and pass the slip stitch over and off, and end with a knit 3. And knit across to the end of the row. Sliding the markers as you go. Okay. Can you believe it? That's the end of row 3. Row 4 is the wrong side row. I'll see you back at row 5. Alright, we're up to row 5, and row 5 reads, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 2. So I think we've got the drill now. You kind of see where we're going. And you see how fast this little knit is. And I said it was the advance of the 3 that I'm doing. Not so much the stitch, but just a lot to keep up, you know, for someone who's new, and it just helps you to get used to, you know, having more things on your plate when you're knitting, thinking ahead. Okay, so now I'm up to my pattern, and it starts out row 5, knit 2, 1, 2, okay, now knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, yarn over again, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, okay, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, and knit 2. We'll end with a knit 2. Well, I dropped a stitch here. And let me say this too. Let me just put this back on. And end with a knit 2. Okay, as we continue across, just in case, you know, you get distracted or your mind wanders, and you realize on these border stitches, say right here, that you maybe didn't knit the stitches on the purl side, and you notice right away it's not lining up or it doesn't look right. Well, of course, you don't have to just pull everything out. I hope not. You can simply work up to the stitch that you know, or you have to do all 3. I would take a small crochet hook, and just for instance, I didn't do any, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of demonstrate. I would take a crochet hook and take all 3 stitches and put it on my crochet hook, just like this. Then I would take them one at a time and ladder them back up, you know, knit and purl, lifting the yarn in the right direction until I get it back to where it should be. And that's just something simple you can do with a crochet hook and not have to pull all your stitches out. Oh, believe me, I've done it. As on my blooper, I think I left in a blooper on part of the tape so that you can see, or maybe it's coming up. Okay, so I'm in that knit position, so I'll knit those 3. Now I'm up to the center back. I will pass the marker and continue across, repeating row 5 on the left hand side. And of course, row 6 is the wrong side. Please be careful when you turn. Don't forget to knit all stitches that represent a border. There are 3 stitches for each of those borders. So, I will see you back at row 7 on the right side. Well, are you ready? We are at row 7, the right side, and row 7 reads, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, and knit 1. So we're just making great progress since we're only having to do 2 repeats, 1 on each side. So you see why I just, as soon as the tennis match comes on, of course I don't knit this one all the time. I tried a new stitch, or maybe I have a new book and I want to try something out of the book. And this way, you know, instead of putting it in a large afghan or a large blanket, I can simply do my little tennis sweaters. Knit 1, now I'm about to knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, 1, 2, knit 2 together. Okay, now yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over. Now I knit 2, 1, 2, another yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, reach back and pass the slip stitch over, and I end with a knit 1. And of course, slide the marker, continue across to the left side to put the pattern in there. So you're just knitting. Now I'm at the back, the center back marker, slide the marker, and continue across the row to the left side to put your pattern. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that easy? Okay, let's keep going. We're gonna just knock this out of the ballpark. Oh no, that's right, we're playing tennis. Foul! No, we're playing tennis, so alright. See you back. We're up to row 9. Row 9 reads, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over. So what is some of your favorite things to knit? I'm not a hat person per se, because I usually have my hair up, or you know, I have a thick hair, and so. But now I guess if it got cold enough, I have made some hats. Like I said, some of the podcasts I watch, they do socks. They gravitate towards socks, but I'm not really a sock person. Judy used to like socks. She would make all the men in her family socks. Okay, I'm up on row 9. It says it starts out knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, 1, 2. Okay, now knit 2 together again. Okay, now yarn over and knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Alright, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass that slip stitch over, knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, in with a slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over. Okay, and continue across, sliding all your markers. You're just knitting. This is the front side, so there's nothing too scary about this side. And slide the marker. Now I'm in the center back, and continue across. Now, this is row 9. Row 10, of course, will be the back side. Now, that's the side, remember. It's just a little reminder. You know, when you get to the back, you have to make sure that you knit all stitches that represent a border. You have the 2 ends, and then you have the 3 right here on each side of your center back or your neck stitches. Be sure to knit those on the backs, the wrong side. Well, I'll see you back at row 11. Good job. Row 11. Row 11. We're on the right side. It reads, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn over. Slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over. Yarn over, knit 2. Knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2. So we had that little slip 1, knit 2 together on this row, but that's pretty easy too. So here we go. Let me just do all of mine. Do my border, slide my marker and do my extra stitches there. Now I'm up to my pattern. Slide my marker. Alright, row 11, knit 2. 1, 2, yarn over. Okay, now slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over. Knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over. Now we're going to slip 1 and knit 2 together. Knit 2 together, reach back and pass the slip stitch over. Now, yarn over, knit 2. 1, 2, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit the last 2. And we're off. On our way to the other side. Just knitting and slide the marker. Now I'm at the center back and you continue to knit across. Oh, I went to Joann's. I took a little break from everything and I went to Joann's and look what I found. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I saw them a few weeks ago. I had a coupon. I couldn't find anything else, so I looked at it a couple of weeks ago and I thought, I don't need another mug, I don't need another cup, I don't need another anything. But that coupon was 50%. I hate to waste a 50% coupon. So it has J, Yahoo, and has a J on both sides. It's not very deep, so I really wouldn't use it probably because it's very shallow, but 50%. But I love the color. It's green. It goes with my room. And it's just cute. So I've got it sitting here on my counter where I'm doing my tutorials. What do you think of that? I gifted myself. Okay, row 12 is the wrong side row. And like I said, watch your borders. Be sure to knit them on the wrong side. I will see you back at row 13. Yes, I gifted myself. I gifted myself. Well, can you believe it? We're up to row 13. Row 13 says knit 3, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn over, slip one, knit one, pass slip stitch over again, knit one, knit two together, yarn over, knit three. So here we go. We're almost to the end of this. I just want to try to get all the rows on, well, definitely on one tape. Okay, I'm up to my pattern. Row 13, knit 3, 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, 1, 2. Okay. Now, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, reach back and pass the slip stitch over, knit 1, knit 2 together. Now, a yarn over and knit the last 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And slide the marker, continue across. Don't forget your left side is coming up. Be careful. Here we go. I'm up to the center back. Slide my marker, continue across. Row 14 is the back side. Just be careful. Of course, don't lose any yarn overs, but mainly be sure to keep your border stitches knitted on every row. And I will see you back at the last pattern row, row 15. Beautiful. Well, voila, we've made it to the last pattern row, which is row 15. And it's a short row, and it won't take us but just a minute to finish it. And then we'll know we're ready for the next step. So let me get to my pattern area. Knit all of my little filler stitches in my border. I'm up to my pattern. I slide my marker. Now, row 15 says knit 4, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 4. See? Okay, so knit 4. 1, 2, that's 3 and 4. And we add a yarn over, just come over, then slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, yarn over. Now this is the slip 1, knit 2 together, reach back and pass that slip stitch over, yarn over, and knit 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, slide that marker. Knit all of my extra stitches. Knit those 3 stitches that represent that border. And now, slide the marker. Now you're on the center back, working towards your left side. And that is the end. Let me knit a few more, make sure I don't lose my markers. And And of course, after this is row 15, right side, you will need to complete row 16, which is the purl side. And be sure, like I said, to knit on the wrong, even though you're on the wrong side, to knit the borders. There's a border here, there's two here, and then there's one there. So once you've done that, all right, then we're going to discuss, you know, the measurements and where you need to go. And I'm going to be working on mine in real time, and I had to change up some things, so I'm a little behind, but that's okay. Do a good job. You take your time and do a great job. And I know you're going to I know it's going to be really nice, and I think you're going to really like this. So, finish row 16, and I'll see you back. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful job. Well, are you all knitted out? I think I'm all knitted out. But I hope I think I have enough left, because I can see the finish line. Well, maybe halfway to the finish line. Okay, so right in the middle of getting this done, I made a decision. I changed my mind about something. And when we started, I was using, say, 16 inches. Like I said, my friend Judy really wanted to make it a longer size. But when I first started making my tennis sweaters, I made them more on a smaller size. Not so much in size, but in length, a shorter length. Maybe that's what I want to say. So I thought, well, instead of making the same sweater that I already have the pink one and have one exactly alike, I'm going to make one just using the shorter length that I used to use before. And that way you can pick whichever version you like or will fit you best. So I got busy and I pulled back the other one. I pulled back my green one. And so now I have it to the size that I want. And the easiest way to determine, instead of so many inches, just count the repeats. So I decided for this shorter version to just do 4 repeats. And my arm was getting tired, my shoulders. So I came up, I says, well, since I already have one the full size, the pink one, I'm going to show you how my original design was before I start making them larger. So I just simply pull back, and I have 4 repeats of this diamond spiral pattern. And I'm going to go over my numbers for my size. And then I just finished row 16. And it's, you know, it was a purl row. It was the wrong side. So I want to start my neck on the next right side row to make it easy. So I just did 4 repeats, finished row 16, and now I'm ready to start my neck, working my neck. And I'll be doing row 1 of the pattern on the right and left side. See, that makes it so much easier. So I'm just going to quickly go over my numbers on this original. I have a border of 3 on each side. So B3. Okay. Then I have 5 stitches that were just, filler stitches. 2, 4, yeah, make sure that was 5. 5 on this side, so I'd have a matching 5 on the left side. Then my pattern, I had 15 stitches because that's what her pattern called for. Then I ended with 4 stitches that were fillers on this side. And this is the center back, and right beside the center back, I added 3 border stitches on each side. Because as we go up and we bind off the neck, then these become the faux arms. These become the front ties. So, in order for us to go, I'm just going to get ready now. And you can just follow me through this. And we're going to work this pattern. And then I'm going to start working my neck. So, let's see how far I can get here. All right, so now I'm on row 1 of the pattern. And I'm just going to read it out. First I'm going to take care of all my little extra stitches, just so that you remember. There's a 3, and then I had 5 for my, I'm doing the extra large, where I cast on 86 stitches. Now I'm up to my pattern. So I slide the marker, and now I'm going to work my 15 pattern stitches. Let's go. Row 1 says knit 5. That's 1, 2, that's 3, 4, and 5. Alright, I yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, 1, 2, alright, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, reach back and pass that slip stitch over, and I have a knit 4 to end that pattern. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now I am ready to move on, getting closer to the neck area. So I'm going to slide this marker, and I just simply knit all the way to the neck. Nothing really hard, because we're on the front side. Slide the next marker. Okay, and I have a nice bright red marker to remind me where the back or the neck area. See, there it is. So I'm up to the neck, and this is where, alright, like I said, it's already, I'm going to turn it, bring this out so that you can see it. Maybe that's better. Alright, and I've already calculated so that we can work the 2x2 rib in the neck area. So we simply start with knit 2, because you have, most of them have 26 stitches there, purl 2, except for the extra large, and it has 30. So you knit 2, purl 2. I'm back to knit 2 and purl 2. Knit 2, and purl 2. Yarn in front, now purl 2. In back, I need to knit 2. Now purl 2. Almost to the end of the neck. Knit 2. Oops. Now, yarn in front, purl 2. Knit 2. Almost to the end. Purl 2. And I started with a knit 2, so I had already figured out the number I needed to get so that I will end with a knit 2. So started with a knit 2, end with a knit 2. Okay, slide the next marker, and now this is the front side, so you just knit across until you get to the left side to put the pattern in. Alright, so now you'll just put the pattern on the left side, just as we've been doing on the sample. You continue. Alright, and then of course when you come back, which will be the wrong side, when you get to the neck area, you will start with purl 2, knit 2. Oh, excuse me. And I'll see you back. Just a little reminder, as I started working on my wrong side row, don't forget to stay in pattern. So as I'm purling across, sliding, coming up to the markers, sliding my markers, I still have to stay in pattern. We're just working the neck while we're staying in pattern. So now I'm up to those 3 border stitches right beside the neck. So my yarn needs to go in back because I need to knit those stitches on every row. So I knit those 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. All right, there's my marker for my neck. I'm going to put my yarn back in front because I know since I'm on the purl side, I will start with purl 2. Okay, now knit 2. We were doing the 2x2 rib on the neck area. Purl 2. Now I'm going to knit 2. And purl 2. Okay, I'm just working my way across the center back, but I am on the wrong side. Purl 2, now knit 2. Coming up towards near the end of the neck area. Okay, I have to knit 2. And I started with a purl 2 on the wrong side, so I'm ending with a purl 2. Now I have those 3 border stitches on this edge. Remember? So I need to put my yarn in back, slide that marker. Got a nice bright red one on this side too. Now I simply knit those 3 stitches. And yarn back in front, slide my marker, and continue to purl across the row until the last border. So, you're staying in pattern as we're working the neck. Now, I think, by my calculations, you're going to work this pattern back and forth, right side, wrong side, working the pattern to row 9. Row 9 is a row that you will be on the right side, of course, and you will be working across, and then we will bind off in pattern. So you work yours, and I'm going to be working mine up to row 9. And we'll bind off the neck, and guess what? Then we'll start working just one side of our pattern. Getting ready to go across the shoulder and down the front. So let's get to row 9, and let's see how that looks. Alright, I've just finished my right side pattern, and I'm coming up. I'm on row 9. Remember, that's the row we're going to bind the neck off. So I've just finished my right side pattern, first part of row 9. I'm up to my 3 border stitches before the neck. 1, 2, 3. Here's my marker that tells me that I'm about that's the neck section right here. So we can just go ahead and drop this marker. Okay, now I'm going to bind off in pattern, so I'm simply going to knit 1, knit the next stitch, reach back, pull the first stitch over and off the needle, stay loose, yarn in front, purl 1 stitch, reach back, and bind off 1. The next stitch is also a purl, and we will continue across. staying in pattern as we bind this neck area off. Once you kind of get into the rhythm, it's fine. Just remember, try to keep your stitches nice and loose though, so that you won't have that pull on the neck edge. Just kind of keep it loose, reach back, bind off, staying in pattern. Bind off those two purls. Now I'm yarning back. Every once in a while I give a little pull, a little tug. Alright, the next stitch is a knit stitch, so I knit that stitch and then bind off. And bind off the next, give a little pull, yarn in front. Bind off. Take a look at it, see if you're doing okay, and continue. Oops, I'm sorry, that was another knit stitch. Bind off. Now yarn in front. Purl the next one. Bind off. Purl this one. Bind off. Oops. Oh, I kind of dropped my stitch there. Let's see, can I get it back? Just take your time. If you drop it, it happens to the best. Okay, just as long as you stay in pattern. Okay, now I'm back to purling one. And reach back and bind off. There we go. You can see it. See the neck there? Like I said, this is on row 9. I guess you could go further if you like your neck edge to be longer. Oops. But I think these 9 rows were they're just right for me, you know. Purl, bind off, next purl stitch. Okay, we're to the end. Alright, let's see. Of the neck. Okay, and the last 2 stitches, there are knit stitches. So I knit one, bind off. Now watch. Knit this stitch and bind off. And you see there's a marker there, so we're still in the neck. So this stitch here, especially for beginners, that stitch has to be bound off too. So I remove this marker, set it aside. Now, this is the front side, so I need to knit this stitch. This is the border. Now bind this stitch off. Now I am in those 3 stitches that I use for the border. That's 1. So now 2 and 3. Now we're in our pattern, getting ready to simply go to the left side. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do it real quick on this video. Alright, row 9 reads, it may not be on the screen this time, but you know where to find it now. Knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, 1, 2, knit 2 together. I think I said, yeah, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3. Okay, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, 1 and 2, yarn over, and the last 2 stitches, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over. And that is the pattern on the left side. We'll go to the end of the row. You simply just knit off. Now that part was fun and easy. Okay, now here we have, now we're going to be working two separate sides, the right side and the left side. So the neck is bound off. We have this beautiful border that goes right at the edge of the neck and down the front. So I'll let you get up to this point or get your neck bound off. I'm going to be switching this to US number 8 straight needles for this side so I can start working on the left side. So let's continue, and I'll see you right back. I'll get my straight needles. Okay, I pulled out my straight needles, my number 8. Now I just normally use clover. You know, that's just, I've got so many of them. So whatever number, you know, whatever brand you have is fine. And of course I was on row 9, so row 10 was the wrong side. You purl back in pattern, which I've already done. Now, since we're working on the left side, the right side, instead of having that circular needle flop around and getting all in my way, I went ahead and transferred my stitches to a double pointed needle. You can do a stitch holder. I just cap it. I just use a double point and just cap it. And we'll come back and work that side later. Now, we're on the left side. Now let me say this before we start. Remember, I made a decision and I changed this one so I wouldn't wind up with just two exactly the same sweaters. I made this one the shorter version, shorter in length this way. Instead of going up 16 to 18 inches, I only went up about 14 inches or so. And then I did, let's see, I'm just giving you an idea, just a little over, maybe 15 inches with the neck, but you want to stop at 14 to start the neck. And then and then again you can just simply count your repeats. I did 4 repeats, and you can tell by the center. I count the centers here, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So at the 4th repeat on the first row, I started to work the neck. Now I'm going to take a marker and put in the center of 1, 2, 3, 4 of this 4th repeat right here. I'm just going to mark that. Now, as we go over the shoulders, this is something I just do. This is how I calculate it. I always do a repeat for the shoulder. So I have 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I will do 1 repeat for the shoulders, and then do at least another 4 repeats for the front. Then I'll kind of try it on to see if I need to go a little longer. And then of course we're going to add cuffs at the end of all the repeats. So right now I am on row 11. I am on just the left side now. I've got the right side capped off and ready for me to come back to. So now you just stay in pattern. So I knit my 3 border stitches, I knit my extra stitches, and this should go fairly fast because you're just on one side repeating. Row 11 says knit 2, so let me see if I can knit this right quick. Yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2. Okay, now yarn over, slip 1 but knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over. Oops, I don't think I got it all over. I need to make sure I pass it all over. There we go. Now yarn over, knit 2. Okay, now knit 2 together, Okay, and in with the yarn over and knit the last 2 stitches for row 11. Now we're just working back and forth. Slide the last marker, knit the 3 border stitches. There is row 11, continuing on the left side. And you'll see, can I lay it down and get it? There's my marker so I'll know where I started from. Okay, so all we have to do now is continue up the left side till we have at least 1, 2, 3, 4 more. You don't count, remember, you don't count the one over the shoulder, that's the extra one. So we can do that, and then we can come back before we put on our cuffs, and you can either work this side, but I'm going to show you how to get the cuff done. So let's continue. Have fun. We're almost there. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Good job. Okay, well, I've been knitting away, and we're near the end of this one side, and I think it will come together, and you'll see how things just really looks nice. Okay, all right, here was, I did 4 repeats up, and I put a marker. That's when I started my neck, and then I went to row 9, and I bound off the neck. Be sure to mark these down, things down where you bind off. Okay, it's easy with these repeats to count, and not so much worrying about how many inches. Alright, from the marker, I did, of course, 1 for the shoulder, and then I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in total, for me, because I'm short, from the cast on edge, it came to a total of 10 repeats. I went 4 up, then that's when I did started my neck, and then from there I did 6 more. So, but you can try it on as you come over the shoulder, just see how long you want it. You can have your tie short, above the bust line or right at the bust line, or longer, below the bust line, more towards your midriff. So that's up to you. But as we now heading towards the end, let's see, can I sit down here? All right. Now, if you stayed in my numbers, of course you take a count of your stitches. And for me, on my size, I believe I should have 30 stitches. So I've counted and I have my 30. You need to count yours, whatever size you picked out from my size chart. And that's the number. And I've already done the math so that you'll come out equal. So now you don't have to think about that. But I simply did a 2x2 rib. And when I got to the very last, pattern here, I did 1 extra knit, 1 extra knit row and 1 extra purl row. When I got to the last repeat, however many you want to go to, you finish row 16, then you do 1 knit row and 1 purl row extra. And then you can start your 2x2 ribbing. And I simply start on the right side, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. And I suggested that I did my ribbing for at least 2.5 inches or even 3. I believe I've gone 3 on this one. It just makes it drape nicer if it's a little long. And if you're tall or have long arms, of course you can go 3.5, 4. It's just up to you. Just as long as you, of course, you got to make the other side match. So now listen, I've already gotten up to the part where you see how it's pulling in real nice, just like a sweater. Just after I did the last repeat, I did that 1 extra knit row, 1 extra purl row, just to give a little separation, and then I went right into my ribbing because my numbers, I've already got them ready for you. You don't have to do any calculation. All right, now I'm ready to bind off, and we'll bind off in pattern, and I was going to show you, you know, I don't know if it happens to everyone, but I know when I was in my dishcloth world, Years ago, I was gonna make a dishcloth for everybody, or face cloth, washcloth, whatever you want to call it, for everybody in the world. You know how you just love them so, until you realize, But I do my dishcloth, and then when I got to the bind off section, you know, so many inches up, you know, 10, 12, however large I was making. Of course, you always have that bind off flare. You know, it goes up real pretty, and then it pops open. So I don't know what other people do, but years ago I thought, well, I don't like that. I'll just make up something. I'll just do what I want to do. So anyway, so I'm gonna start to bind off. So my first 2 stitches, I'm in pattern. So knit 1, knit 2, reach back, bind off 1 stitch. Yarn in front, purl 1, bind off another stitch. Purl again, and bind off. And yarn in back, because I have 2 knit stitches. Knit, bind off, knit another stitch, and bind off. Okay, so now I'm on the front. I'm gonna, now, right here, there's 2 purl stitches. And this is what I do to take away some of these stitches, and no one will ever know. You can't tell it. It doesn't show up strange on your ribbing or anything. I simply, on 2 purl stitches, I reach in and purl 2 together, just like that. Just purl 2 together. I'm binding also, it doesn't matter. I purl 2 together. Now I reach back, pull that stitch over, and bind off. Now go right back into pattern, whatever the next stitch is, and that's a knit stitch. So I knit the stitch, bind off, knit the next stitch, bind off. All right, I have purl, so I'm gonna purl, and what we'll do is go all the way to the other side almost, and then do the exact same thing as we get closer to the other end. So I'm just staying in pattern, binding off. I think I have a knit stitch. Yep, I have a knit stitch there, so I need to knit and bind off. Yarn in front, purl. I'll go a little further. Purl that stitch and bind off. Oops, oh, I got to split thread. There we go. Purl the next stitch and bind off. Just lifting over. Now I'm going to knit the next stitch and bind off. Knit and bind off. Okay, so now I see 2 purl stitches coming up as I come to this other side. So I simply, with the yarn in front, reach down and purl, pick up both stitches, purl those 2 stitches together, reach back, pull the back stitch over, and bind off. Go back into pattern, and I have 2 knit stitches, bind off. 2 knit, bind off. Now I can just I can just work my way to the end. Usually if you just take out 2, sometimes now if it's a large item like a dishcloth, I can spread it out and take out 3, maybe even 4 stitches. And that will pull it back. And you just never, you know, unless the pattern is just real strange for some reason. Okay, so now I'm in pattern and I'm just binding off. I'm just working my way across. I've taken out 2 stitches by purling 2 together during this bind off, because it's the end. Nobody's going to be able to tell that. And I'm at the very end, bind off, and the last bind off, pull this stitch over, pull up a loop, and let me get my scissors. I'm just going to cut this tail. Well, the scissors don't want to cut. Well, I guess I got bad scissors. Okay, so now you have a cuff that does not have the bind off flare, and it's in place as it should be. It's bound off in pattern, and you cannot see where I took those 2 stitches out. It just looks like it should look. And now you have your faux sweater sleeve. Now, let me show you this. Let's just turn it so that it's going in the right direction. Here we go. See, this is the back. Here's the one sleeve. Now you have to come back up and do this sleeve. And now, when we were binding off the neck, we were on row 9. Do you remember that? That's what my row was. Now, you may want yours longer. You may want to do the longer version. But for this short version, row 9. Make sure you make a note of what row, however, the length you want. All right, now, so I went across, and I worked my neck up so far, however many, 1.5 inches or however long you want that neck. So if now I'm gonna, I want to start on the right side, and I bound up on the right side, so if I was coming back, I think that's how I want to say it, I would be on the purl side. I don't know, I guess I'm just tired people. I've been knitting for days. Okay, so all right, I'm at the end here. So now I want to start this right side. I have my markers. Everything is just like we were doing on this side. But this would be row 10 because I bound off on row 9, and row 10 would have been the purl side. So I start right here on the neck edge, and I'm just going to loop my yarn, stick my needle into the stitch right at the neck, loop my yarn over. Okay, now remember these are border stitches, so I have to knit 1, now 2, and I take my tail and my working yarn, and I go ahead and use both of them to knit that stitch. 1, 2, and one more, 3. Okay, now I can drop the tail and make sure you have the working yarn. And now we need to purl across. So yarn in front, slide my marker, and begin to purl all the way to the next border on the other side. Okay, so now you just purl, and I am on row 10. See, slide my marker, purl. And this double pointed needle I picked up to use, make sure you get the same size as your needle. So this is just a number 8, just a different brand. Or you could have used a stitch holder. I buy all these, you know what? I buy all of the tchotchkes to go with knitting. And when I start sharing things, you're gonna say, well, you just use all these household things, or just things that I just buy all this stuff, and then it's just too much trouble to go get it or to use them sometimes. When something else just makes just as much sense. I do not know. But I guess it's just all in the fun of collecting and enjoying it. Slide the next marker, continue to purl across. We're working the right side on row 10. Here we go, coming up, last border, yarn in back, because we need to knit these last 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I can get rid of this double point now. I can turn the work, and now you can see I can just go right back into pattern. I just finished row 10, so now I'll work the pattern row 11, 12, 13, and I will count my repeats. Instead of trying to figure out inches on this, it's so much nicer to be able to count, and I had 10 repeats from the cast on to the bind off, so I'll need 10 repeats over here. And voila, you're done. But I think you will like this short version. But now you can do either one. You can do however many inches you want. What do you think of this? Well, as I said, it's all for the love of tennis. No, I don't play, but I enjoy watching. I mean, I'm all in. And so, like I said, this is my go-to project. Anytime I have some new yarn, or now, like I said, when I'm sharing, it would be unfair for me to have you to buy $30 a skein yarn. It just doesn't make sense. Even, look, this is what you'll do for me. Click, click on to someone else. So we're using very inexpensive yarn. Once you get things down and get your numbers and kind of see if you like the way I knit, you know, if it works for you. You may be a person who totally needs a written pattern. Well, I do not have those. I repeated it over and over. You're going to have to get it here on the YouTube because I prefer the step-by-step. It's just easier for me to just do it step-by-step in tutorials. But I try to keep it simple because, you know, there's enough hard stuff out there. So I just wanted something cute, simple, and I'm telling you, wherever I go, wherever I wear my little tennis sweater with my, look, you may wear jeans and your cute sandals. Well, I got a little foot problem, so I have to put on my Skechers or my capri pants from Cato's. I put on my little white shell. I put on my tennis sweater. And I'm telling you, put my glasses on top of my head, and I'm ready, you know, to hit wherever I need to go. Just get out, and people always stop me and go, "Oh, that's so cute. I thought it was a real sweater." All right, this will be followed by the next video. I have 3 different styles. The next one will be a full lace back, just so that you can see. You don't have to just do this with all this stuff going on. You can just simply do a simple lace one. And then the last one is geared more for beginners because it has a lot more of stockinette. You know, it has a little pattern in the back, but it's, you know, mainly stockinette so that they can, but I wanted to get this one out first so that you can kind of see if you even wanted to even try it. And then I'm doing one in crochet. I finished one already in crochet, and I may do another one by the time I get all these tutorials up and thing. And like I say, it's easy when you're just chit-chatting to put a lot of videos up, but you know, I want to make sure of what I'm giving you. I'm not an expert. It's just trial and error. I can't tell you how many times I had to get this knitted to get it right. I had to change it a couple times just to make sure my numbers are right. You know, people love you so much until they find you made a little mistake. And then they're all like, so I want to try to give you something of quality, you know. So, but we're on our way. And I hope you really give it a try. I hope you pick up your needles. I hope you try. Like I said, I have 2 more coming right after this. Then I'm going to do a crochet one. So anytime that I can't find something to do, this is my go-to project. I have so many of these, as you've seen just a few. So I hope you join me. Tell your friends. I hope you, you know, just come and just not just be a looker, but really, you know, get into it, because this is all I'm going to do. And I'm having fun, and I want you to come along and have fun with me. What else are we going to do? There's nothing else, people. Hey, one day at a time, living life. My friend just one day, I talked to her one day, and a few days later, I just didn't understand. So, not to get down or nothing, I'm having fun. I've got you, and I'm so thankful that you like even the little small things that I can contribute or share with you. That's what friends are all about. And I'm glad that you're my friends. So, until next time, I'm telling you, I can't. From Jay's Knit and Purl Jam, see ya!